Trend lines and channels are two of my favorite ways to outline support and resistance in the markets, but the fact is 99% of traders get it wrong because they draw them too subjectively, which leads to frustration and losses. So in this video, I'm going to give you some simple rules to drawing trend lines. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, the simple rules to follow, and in the second half of this video, we're going to talk about channels and why in most cases a channel is going to be better fitted on the chart than a simple trend line, and I'll show you exactly why. So my promise to you is that by the end of this video, you are going to have all the tools to never draw a trend line or channel incorrectly again. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's get right into it here with the BTC, okay, Bitcoin 4-hour time frame. Now this could be any chart, guys. It doesn't have to be crypto. This works in indices, Forex, commodities. It doesn't matter, okay? It's all the same. Okay, so the very first rule I want to talk to you guys about, and look, I'm not going to spend time on what a trend line is. I'm going to assume that those watching this know it's a diagonal level in the market that can serve as support and resistance. Okay, so the first rule when it comes to trend lines, and the same thing with channels or really any technical level on the chart, is going to be to use the higher time frames, okay? And I'm going to say here in parentheses, the 4-hour and higher, okay? Now you could drop to a 1-hour time frame. However, I encourage you to at least start on a higher time frame. So, 4-hour, daily, weekly, that kind of thing. You can drop to a lower time frame if you really want to. Just keep in mind though, that the higher time frames are typically going to be a little bit cleaner, and those candles on the high time frames are going to provide you with more conviction, and you're going to get more noise on the lower time frames, okay? So just keep that in mind. So that right there is the very first rule. Now we can move right to the second rule since the first one is easy enough, right? And the second rule is going to be to let price, okay, dictate the level. Now, a couple of things here with this. The first one being to get the most touches possible, okay? So generally speaking, the more touches on a level, the more accurate it's going to be, right? Because the market is basically confirming for you that that level is serving as support or resistance. Now, I don't want to confuse that with strength, okay? Because over time, depending on what the price action is doing, that level can actually weaken over time. However, in general, the more touches you have on a level, the better. Now, we want to get those most touches though, without cutting off candle bodies, okay? So that's incredibly important because what I often see is traders drawing levels like this. They take this low down here and they draw it up here and they cut off all of these bodies back here. And this right here is telling you, straight away that this is not accurate. Okay, now the second thing though, and this is one of the challenges with trend lines, is that yes, there is some varying degree of which you can draw a horizontal level. It is a little bit subjective. However, trend lines are the worst offender because the slightest little movement, okay, in the lows down here can mean a big difference once you get over here to where you're actually trading. So here's the key, right? With these two rules now, we're on the 4-hour time frame. We're letting the price dictate the trend line, which means we want to get the most touches possible. Again, without cutting off candle bodies. Now, here's a little pro tip for you. And this tends to happen more in crypto than other markets. Maybe it's because the market is so volatile and you tend to get larger wicks. But you can often get a more accurate trend line by snapping to the closing price. So here on the 4-hour chart, you can see we have the closing price right back here. We have these lows. If we move over, you can see we have these lows right here. Now, if I drag this over, what you'll notice is that the market confirmed this for us because we had the breakdown through here and we had the retest. Now, this was a trade that we actually took in Discord. So I announced this as a setup. I also announced my trade in real time. Now, if you want the best broker to trade trend lines and channels, then check out IC Markets because with my link, they are going to give you a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And then on future deposits, a 50% deposit bonus up to $25,000. So that's $26,000 in total that they're going to give you in bonus credits that you can use to trade with. So see the link in the description of this video. I'll also post it up here in a card. So just click on that link, head over there, fill out the application, and you're good to go. Now I'm also going to, anybody who deposits $10,000 or more into their account, I'm going to give you lifetime access to our Discord group, which I'm in every day, helping out members, posting trade setups and sharing my trades live. That also includes the full SMC course. So be sure to check that out. Again, see the link in the description of this video. And unfortunately, this is not available for US traders because they are an overseas broker. Okay, so this trend line right here, you can see where the market, obviously retested this as resistance, and this was a really nice short from this level. Now, there are obviously multiple ways to draw this. And in fact, when the market was back here, you could have drawn it a different way to tell you that the market was also breaking down. So in this case here, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, this magnet tool over here on TradingView, this is going to become your new best friend. the weak magnet here is what I use, and this allows you to snap the trend line here or any level to the closing price, open, high, or low. So you can snap it right down here to the low, and you know that this level is exactly off of that low right there. Okay, so in this case here, you can see where the trend line, in this case, if we draw it from this low over here. So once again, we have the low here and we have the low here. So in this case, we have two touches down here. We have a third touch right here though. So what I would do in this case, in the moment, once the market was back here, what I would do is say, okay, well, this up here is probably the more accurate placement off of this low, because you can see the reaction that Bitcoin gave right here off of this trend line. Okay, so right here. Now, if we move over, what you'll notice is that we broke down. Okay, the market broke down. We then had this rounded retest, this elongated retest. Now, the reason for this, and we've talked about this in other videos, is notice how this candle back here was one massive inefficiency. So the market came back up here, filled that inefficiency, and then that was a great short there from that level. Okay, so you can see how you can kind of combine things that we talked about here, this trend line plus areas like this inefficiency back here. The market came back to facilitate that efficient auction, and then we got the short. Okay, so that's kind of combining a few things we talk about here on this channel all the time. Okay, so the general rule though for trend lines is, again, you want to be using those higher time frames to start. You can always drop down, but I really would not go below a 1 hour, preferably a 4 hour or higher. And then you want to let the price dictate the level. Okay, so that means the most touches possible without cutting off any candle bodies. Okay, so now let's move into the second half of this video and talk about channels. Now, people think about trend lines and channels as two separate things. And in reality, while they are technically, in reality, a trend line is just half of a channel, right? Because when you think about it, you could take a level like this and you could drag it up, and this could easily be a channel, right? So notice here, we have these lows down here. Okay, so on Bitcoin, we have the lows down here, we have the breakdown here, we have these two highs up here. So this was just one channel here in the market, technically a bear flag, right? Because the market was making a downtrend. It then broke down, retested, and continued lower. So this right here is a channel. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm trading a market like this, I would much rather have both of these levels on my chart rather than just having this lower one, okay? Because in this case, you at least know where resistance is. It just provides a lot more structure to your trading. Furthermore, what it can do too is that, let's say in this case here, okay, so let's say in this case, you weren't sure if if this trend line should go up here, okay, or down here. Technically, both could be valid. But if you look here, if we take a look at a channel, all right, so let's take our channel tool, and this is just a simple parallel channel from this low down here over here to the lows, and do this. Now, if you're unsure where this trend line is supposed to go, here's a little trick for you. Okay, start with the highs. Start with the highs up here, take your channel tool, okay, highs up here, and drag your level down, okay? And that's gonna give you a really nice placement, a lot of times, a really nice placement for a channel, okay? So you can see here, we've got this level up here off of these highs, okay? So really nice level up here off of the highs, we've got the lows down here. So this up here, using this channel is going to tell you essentially where this lower level is, and look at the retest right there. Okay, perfect retest off of that level. So this is why I say that in many, many cases, if you're drawing a trend line on the chart, try to draw a channel instead, because it's going to provide more structure to your trading. And it's also going to actually help you to identify where the correct placement is of the original trend line that you were drawing. Okay, so let's take a look here at the EURUSD. All right, now before we get into this too, guys, if you want to see exactly how I trade SMC full time, then check out the link right here on the screen. That's going to be a free SMC training that shows you exactly how I trade SMC full time. It is completely free. Just click that link, enter your name and email address, and you're good to go. Okay, so with the euro, I want to start here going out to a weekly time frame. So again, in this case, what most traders would do is they would look at this here and they would say, okay, here is my trend line. I'm going to turn on my magnet tool, snap it right here to the low, and they're going to say, here's my trend line, right? And they're going to stop with that. I'm going to switch this over now to a solid line so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So this is my trend line right here. And this is where most traders would stop. And they would say, okay, well, that's good enough. There's my trend line. If the market comes down here, then that's probably going to serve as support. And that's fine, right? That could work. But again, if you take this here and take it one step further and say, okay, instead of a trend line, what if, is this a channel? Let's just check it out, right? Draw it up here off the highs. Look at that. Okay, perfect channel here from the euro. And this goes back years. Now, here's the thing too, is that this upper level. So in this case, without doing that, what traders would be asking is, well, how do I know if this trend line is supposed to be drawn from the low over here, okay, like this, or is it supposed to be drawn from the closing price? As Justin said earlier, right? How do I know which one is accurate? Because the problem is, look what happens by the time you get over here. Okay, years later, what happens is you get so much separation between these trend lines that by the time the market tests this, you could be looking at 150 or even 200 pips between these, and you're not sure which one to use. So all you have to do, knowing that markets love symmetry, right? I say that all the time. And what that means is that markets tend to move within a parallel channel. Okay, not all the time, but in many cases, that's going to be true. So let's take this first one. Okay, so this one here is the one that is drawn off of the low. Okay, so let's just do some experimentation and take a look at a copied version of that. Okay, and drag this up. Now, what do you see here? This looks like it matches up pretty well, right? Again, we're getting the most touches. We've got this high here. We've got this one, and this one. We're also not cutting off any candle bodies, so that's good to go. So that looks pretty good, right? Now, let's take a look at this one here that we drew from the closing price on the weekly time frame. So again, I'm just going to copy that over, drag it up toward this high right over here. And what you're going to immediately notice is, look at this, okay? We're cutting off candle bodies. This is telling me that this one is not accurate. Therefore, this one drawn from the closing price is also inaccurate, okay? So that right there, guys, is our channel. So again, you can use a channel like this. You can use a parallel channel knowing that markets love symmetry, and it can actually help you to identify which placement of a trend line is accurate. But as I said before, in most cases, it just makes more sense to draw a channel instead of a trend line when the market dictates that that's the correct move, as the euro is here. Okay, so let's do one more here, talking about the daily time frame. So let's move in here and look at this price action here, these lower highs and lower lows. So in this case here, once again, most traders would look at this high up here and they say, okay, most touches possible, right? There's my trend line. But what do you notice right away? This right here doesn't line up, right? So this is not the correct placement in my opinion. Then what they might do is say, okay, well, what about the closing price up here? Okay, if I draw it across these highs, that could work right there. But let's use our trick that we just did with the channel. Okay, because again, knowing markets love symmetry, let's see if there's something there. All right, so from the high up here, using our channel, from this high up here, if I drag this down and just connect it to these highs back here, okay, that's all I care about right now. And then I'm going to move this over and connect it with this low. And then if we drag this over, okay, let's see what we get. So again, we're looking at these highs over here. Okay, we've got this high, we've got this one, and notice where these two lows come in. So again, this is a parallel channel, right? These two levels run parallel to each other. And you'll notice that this provides you with a lot more structure than just a simple trend line off of the highs, okay? Because yeah, that can tell you where resistance might be for this market, but this tells you where support is as well. So if the euro were to continue lower, right, over the coming weeks and potentially even months, then the bottom of this down here is likely to serve as support whenever the market tests it. Simple enough. Now, you'll even see, right, on the point about markets love symmetry, look at this here. If I take this level and snap it off of this high, what you'll notice is that this has actually been going on now since not only, back here, right, but these lows actually run parallel to this high back here. And so this is what I mean, guys. When I say markets love symmetry, this is exactly what I mean. And you'll find this over and over again. It won't always be the case. It's not always going to be that easy. But in many cases, you will find that a market moves in this way. Okay, now again, if we use that same principle and go back here toward our trend line, and we're saying, okay, we don't know if this is the correct placement here, right? Or if it's off these highs over here, capturing these highs as well. But using the channel, we can correctly identify this because we know that these two lows down here are extremely clean, right? We know that these lows down here are the ones that we could potentially start with. So nothing says that you have to start with these highs up here. You could draw this across the lows first and then see what looks the best, okay? What gives you the most touches without cutting off candles, okay? So we just have to play around with this here a little bit off of these lows right here. We've got this low, we've got this one here, and we've got these highs, okay? So that right there looks pretty good. Now, you'll notice that this here, in this case, doesn't line up exactly. It's not exactly off this high. So if we were to snap it right here to the high and then bring it over, right, what you'll notice is that this low right here looks to be just a few pips below it. And that's okay, guys. A lot of times you're not going to get a channel that is perfect. It's not going to touch off the level perfectly and bounce. A lot of times you might get a close that's just slightly below it. So when I say cutting off a candle body, what I'm referring to is the majority of the body, right? You don't want a situation like this here where you're just cutting off, entire candle bodies, because that right there is telling you that the market is not respecting it. Okay, so just to kind of recap, you can see where on the daily time frame, this is our channel right here. This is, in my opinion, the best representation of what's happening with this market right now. And then moving out here to the weekly, you can kind of see how this comes together, right? You've got this weekly channel, you have the market moving between this support and resistance level, and then shorter term, you have this descending channel that's taking place. Okay, in this way, you're not just blindly targeting these lows through here. You're saying, okay, regardless of where we test this lower level, it doesn't matter when it happens, guys. Whenever we test this level down here, buyers are probably going to step in. Now, if it happens over here, when this level here intersects with this lower one, then you better believe that buyers are going to want to defend that. Okay. If it happens sometime, over here in this area with the intersection of this lower one here, buyers are going to defend that. All right. It doesn't mean the market is guaranteed to bounce. However, you know that, again, buyers are going to step in there most likely and defend that area. So I really hope this video has given you some food for thought when it comes to drawing trend lines, the best placement for them, and also using things like channels instead of trend lines, in place of trend lines, to give you more structure in the market and also to help you confirm the correct placement of that initial trend line that you drew. I truly hope this video has helped. If it has, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also check out that free SMC training right here on the screen. It's completely free. Click the link, enter your name and email address, and you're good to go. So until next time, trade well out there. I will talk to you again in the next video.